You can be amazing at what you do and still be completely invisible. Because in today's world, it's not about being the best, it's about being seen, trusted, and remembered. Today, we're talking about something that so many people struggle with: getting visibility, getting credibility, and getting noticed. Because let's be honest, there are so many talented people out there, but only a small percentage actually get the attention, the opportunities, and the growth that they deserve. I'm joined by Erin Saxton. She is a multi-Emmy nominated TV producer who worked behind the scenes at The View, at The Morning Show, and the Barbara Walter specials. And she is an expert because she's seen thousands of pitches and she knows exactly why some people get a yes and why most get ignored. Erin, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you on the show today. This is going to be an amazing conversation.
Thanks, Stacey. Hey, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. I just want to get right into it. I just want to go right into the gundo because this is something that so many people don't understand. They write pitches, they don't get responses. Why do so many smart, talented people struggle to get visibility?
I think that it's hard. First of all, it's hard. It's technically it's marketing, public relations, it's marketing, and it's knowing the media, and it's then understanding the audience that of the medium you want to get on. And there's so many experts out there, and that could be their main job. They could be a dermatologist, or they could be a thought leader, or they could be, a pet sweater knitter or something, right? And so that could be their side hustle, or that could be their main thing. But no one says then that means they become an expert in marketing or how to pitch the media. And just pitching the media is only one slice of it.
Yeah.
And so I'll definitely answer the question. But the bigger problem, the bigger conundrum is that in order to understand marketing, then you have to understand advertising, public relations, social media, and media intersects with all of that. So therefore, pitching the media is an art. And a lot of times people just don't know if the tree makes a sound when it falls in the woods because they're really just like barking up the wrong tree, proverbially. And a lot of times you think you know why people would like your XYZ product, but everybody thinks their baby's awesome, right?
Yeah,
So
true.
right. And so I think that what we have to do is we have to step back from our own brands and we have to really figure out why other people think our product, our messaging, our keynote speeches or whatever, like what do we have to offer, but what are other people saying they like about us? And that's where it starts. And that's when you offer that from that nucleus of, am I solving a problem? Are we going with a pain point pitch? Are we going with a statistical data? Are we including a lot of numbers in there? Is it even like a numbers type of, let's say we want TV? Is it that kind of show? If you're pitching Drew Barrymore or you're pitching all these daytime talk shows, like they don't care about, like the survey says. Like they might a little bit, like 1 out of 4 dentists approve, that gum. But other than that, it's kind of like the people that are watching that show, the people that are listening to this podcast, what are they wanting? What are they needing? What problem in theory can I solve for them? And that's why you wanted me on the show.
Yes.
Because there's something that might come out of this blonde's mouth that will help at least one human listening to this show. And that's what we want the producers or editors or bookers to think when they read your pitch.
100%. I think a lot of times people don't even realize who their true audience is. And I think that's like a huge problem. Most of the time when I talk to people, they get it wrong. When they actually start to really dive deep and have someone professional really look into it for them, who they thought really liked their stuff is not, the person. And it's not the people that are watching them or reading about them or following them. It's completely different.
Absolutely. I recommend, we're going to give out some tips here. Grab paper and pencil, everybody. But I recommend coming up with a questionnaire and you send out your website, your social media platform handles. If you don't have any of them, create them, please. And send that out with questions like, what do you think this company is about? What problem does this company solve? Like almost like a consumer survey report, and let a third party that doesn't even know you, ask a friend to have the friend who doesn't know you answer these questions. Like, let's do a blind study where they're not going to say it because they know you or they know your aunt. Like, really, let's find out what other people are thinking about the service or the product or the information you provide. Let's start there and really roll up our sleeves and figure out, are you who you think you are? Because you're right. Your company does what you say it does. But if they don't know it, if that's not what they're picking up, then that means you have a marketing issue, which is good because it's a change. Like, all you have to do is change content or change something. It's a shift. It might cost a little money. Definitely it'll cost time, but you're going to make up for that because you'll have a higher conversion of sales or an audience, right, reading your book, joining your seminars, things like that.
That's excellent advice. Now, what are they doing wrong without even realizing it?
So, a lot of times they're not speaking the language of the medium that they're approaching. So, if you want to be on a local TV show, please watch that program. Same with the magazines or blogs. Like, read it. Don't just send out a one size fits all pitch letter. If you do wanna have a one size fits all shell going, all right. But then, when you suggest the types of topics you might be considered for, at least customize them in, like, the main meat of the sandwich. At least customize them to hit on the topics of the other types of interviews you've seen these outlets write about or articles they've written. Like, if you're pitching a reporter, what's their beat? What have they worked on before? What have they done? And so try to do some research. And if you can't do the research, then get an intern to do the research. And consistency is also another issue. They might send it out like a pray and spray, like like, just, oh my, I hope this works. And then they send out like 100 pitches
Right.
or 10. And then they think, well, my stuff is so good because my baby is obviously adorable that somebody's going to call me, except they're not, because other people are talking to them about their babies. And then their boss says, well, I need a segment or an article on blah, 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 which has nothing to do with anybody that's calling or emailing them or texting them. And then they have to do proactive research to find that story. So members of the media are chasing their own stories and ideas. They're just not passively sitting waiting to be, like, called, right? It's not like a boring Friday night when the girl doesn't get a date. She's out there. She's hunting. She's looking for stuff. It's just that. So now think of it that way. So now I got to get the girl's attention that's out there hunting for her own stuff. And now I need to blend in with wherever she's thinking about. At a very high level. Sometimes they have their own social media. Sometimes they'll post the media or placements or articles or beats. Sometimes you may want to get to know the hosts of these platforms, because you'll say, like, oh, well, this will relate to, Joe from da 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 KT blah blah blah, because he's interested in that. And so then your pitch becomes that. So if it's a business show, then if you have business angles, then take your media list that you create. And, oh, by the way, that's also challenging to create, but we can talk about that in a second. But then take your media and at least section it off, like, this is lifestyle media. So this is where I will pitch all of these topics. Okay, now this section of media is all business. So I dabble a little in my brand on business. So I can, chapters 3, 7, and 25 in my book talk about that. So I'm going to create a pitch for that. And then this is how to not bring your business home with you. So then I go back to lifestyle, but more in the family base. And so now here are perfect reporters, perfect podcasts, perfect experts, things like that. And then it's not just about that kind of media. It's also about, well, I want to get influencers, micro influencers to follow me, like me. That's also a pitch, right? So now we want to start reaching out to influencers because you think if they follow you or adopt your, or wear the dog sweater, and so, right, whatever. And I'm trying to say all these examples because obviously not everybody's written a book, or not everybody is selling real estate, or not everybody's, doing a bridge at 3 p.m. to March. So everybody's different, but I think I'm giving examples where people can follow the bouncing ball a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's so important sometimes too to reach out to professionals to help you out too, because a lot of times I see people doing the generic pitch and they send it out to literally everybody, and they don't even put the person's name on it. They'll just put in something generic, maybe the person's company or something like that. It's like they don't know who they're speaking to. They don't, they just put out one generic letter, and then they wonder why. Oh, I'm not getting any responses.
Exactly. So that's, I mean, and that's really industry inside knowledge. And so here's the benefits of working with a PR person. And so if you have the budget, if you have the resources, I recommend at least exploring that because after a while, doing it yourself can be done. I definitely always want to lead with that. There is hope. It just takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of knowledge and research. And I'm not sure how people are able to do all of that and do this main business, or if it's a side business, then do also the side business that you're trying to promote to the media and then do their main job. And oh, by the way, I forgot, I'm married. I have kids. I have 3 dogs. I have a cat. I have the parakeet, Charlie. Like, so, and then I'm 56. So then no, I have to keep a watch on my parents. And like, I'm not sure how everybody has time to do all this. Oh, wait, they don't. And so that's why they send those ambiguous letters. So if you can go with a solve, but you have to buyer beware. You have to really research that, right? There's a lot of people that will say they are great. They'll charge you $5,000 a month. They'll probably need about 6 months, which is fair. That's all kind of normal, and then they might not get you the results you think you should get. Like, so hear the words you think you should get. So if you do hire an expert to take over the reins and pitch you, really ask them, do you think my baby's pretty? What do you think of this project I have? Like, what kind of media do you think? Because 10% results on pitching is high. And my team gets that, but not always. And I never would put that in writing. So you're thinking like 5%. At this point, you're looking at telemarketing, with like more expensive and we care more about it. So, but I think that a public relations team or some sort of platform works. So I run an agency, I run a marketing department, I have people that I pull in and customize teams. But what always bothered me, Stacey, and as a member of the media, like we're in the media. Like when I was at The View, I would get 30 pitches at least a day. And so within the first 8 seconds, I have an opinion of a person, a pitch. So really just a PR person or you at home doing it yourself within the first paragraph, boom, I'm going to love you or not. I might not even get to the meat of the sandwich. So really make sure that, and even I'm interrupting myself, and even if I hate when I do that, but even when I am intrigued, I'm still not going to finish the pitch letter. I'm going to then go right to your socials. What kind of following do you have? So a PR firm or a PR team of people, and you do this, Stace, with Stace, right? Because we went to college together. We can help people's platforms and following raise because it has to be a robust level. Now, if you're not, I'm not saying you don't have any business being in the media. That's not true. But I decided to do away with some of the high priced pitching for some of the smaller startup companies. And it's a program we call Pitch Me to Media. And it's a platform that we created, two business partners and I, and it's lovely and it's going well. It's a fraction of the cost. There's 3 months, 6 months, and a year platform like programs that we can do. We've mixed in with some segment creation. We work with you on your pitch letter. We create the media list and then we're not your PR firm. We have it going out. The pitches are there using your email address. You stay in control of what media you want to book. When they reply back to you, you say yes, you say no. They might write back and say, you're not a fit. So great. You just saw yourself get turned down. But when you work with a PR firm, or if you're not sending the right kind of pitch, it's crickets and you're not going to get anything. So at least you're starting to collect data of what's working for people and what's not. And that alone is invaluable.
Exactly. It's very valuable, 100%. So what really the meat of the bone, it really is on the top of the letter, the first quarter of the letter, like your intro, that hook line, that's what really gets people from the ones that get attention to the ones that get deleted, it seems.
Absolutely. In newspaper printing days, they would say, "This is a great story, above the fold." And so what that means is the paper is folded, then it's rolled and the cute kid on the bike would throw it on your driveway. But when you would spread it out, it would still be folded and it would be above the fold. So the story that was good was up here. And then the second part of the goodness would be down here. But then this would be like New York Times, like right below the headline is your lead story. And that doesn't matter what category you're in, business, Hollywood, whatever, your biggest story. And then they started wising up and they put the newspaper into categories. So if it's above the fold in business, above the fold in literature section, above the fold in sports, above the fold in health and wellness.
Yeah.
So when you send out a pitch, you want your best to be above your fold. Now, in that case, it's just an 8 by 10 piece of paper being folded, but print it out and you'll see your own above the fold. What are you really saying? So many people just like vomit Kafka stuff and they're so even with chat GPT, like, and I like chat, but you still need to really work that content and that verbiage so it's true and doesn't scream, I use chat GPT, like, so I used AI. So, see what your above the fold looks like. Even your PR person, see the above the fold they're using. It really matters. What does your subject line say? It matters
It really
big
does.
time.
Is the person or the way they position themselves, is that play a big role?
The person meaning their expert or the person that they're sending the message to.
The person meaning the expert.
Yeah, it's really important how they position it. It's so you want to be able to impart knowledge and content that isn't like anybody else's delivery style.
Mhm.
So depending on what your, you know, body of expertise is, that might be challenging. So if you're a dentist, maybe you back in the day, remember when people started getting Botox in their gums to help with migraines? Like that would have been, and dentists would do it. Well, right. So then you have like, imagine the dentist that wasn't keeping up with the times and they were still pitching themselves on cavities, silver cavities. Then they were competing with the dentist that knew that you could do clear cavities and for fillings. And so then that dentist was going after entertainers because they know, right? So now here we go very broad. We're working ourselves with a good example here, Stacey. So you're pitching to the masses silver fillings
Mhm.
and you're doing dear friend, and you're not using the person's name, da da da. Then you have the expert that is like, I'm going to do clear fillings. I'm going to send it to all of Hollywood entertainment, trade press, da da da, because, you're on TV, you do laughing, like, ha ha, ha. You're not going to see that in my mouth. I've already done it. No, no silver. So that would have been a great angle. And then you have the real industrial. And these examples are dated, but this is what you need all to do with. Now, I'm not saying don't send out on, then you have the preventative ways to not even get a cavity, right? But now we have all different types of cavities. We have ways to not even get a cavity. And then when you get a cavity, you have such bad headaches and that triggers your migraine. So now you need Botox. Oh, wait, I do that, right? And so you're now the Botox guy doctor who does do the silver fillings, looks way cooler of an expert than the doctor who's the same age, the same type of vibe, the same brand, but all of a sudden look at the difference. Because I can ask the Botox doctor how to avoid getting cavities in the first place during my interview about the Botox in the gums. You see what I mean? So everybody needs to kind of back into their brand so they can really think how people in the media come up with these interviews or articles or topics.
I think one of the biggest mistakes that I see in people is that they have expertise in all these different areas, but yet they're trying to hold 7 different hats and present those 7 hats to people at the same time. And then, people see that, and even if they see that, on their website or they see that where they're trying to advertise themselves, it's like you don't know who they are because they got
Exactly.
completely different areas of interest.
You know what I call them? I call them like when we were little, we always would see like the guys in, and we're both from New Jersey. So like you'd go into New York City and you'd see the vendors on the street, or like the guy would have in the big trench coat, right? And you're just so thrilled that he wasn't flashing you in the 80s. And then he'd have, like, the VHS tapes, is that and then we're like, "No, we don't wanna do that. No, DV we have a DVD player," but and then he'd go, "Okay, wanna buy a watch?" You know? And then so I call these people wanna buy a watch people because it's like, "Well, I can do this, I can do that. What do you want me to do?" And you're kind of like, "Oh, you're a wanna buy a watch." So while I don't want brands to pigeonhole just like keeping up with this maybe lame example, but just the Botox guy or girl or doctor. I want them to show their versatility, but not to the point where they can be everything to everybody because that is going to be a guest that's not really booked.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Now, if you're listening right now and you want more visibility, more opportunities, and more growth, make sure that you follow this podcast because this is where we break down and actually talk about things that actually work, not just what sounds good. Now, I'd love to go back for a minute. Like, how did you go from working behind the scenes at major networks to helping people in the spotlight?
Oh gosh. So I started out at Good Morning America, like you said in my intro, and then I quickly, not quickly, I mean, I interned there and then I got a job as right out of college there. And then there was a position at Barbara Walters production company that opened up, which there was only 8 of us. So I would travel with Barbara and I was there for many years and she became my mentor along with the executive producer of that production company, Bill Getty. And sadly, they're both passed away now. And so both mentors have passed, and it's just so sad. But that's where I learned how to write. That's where I learned how to really figure out the great questions. That's where Barbara taught me to be comfortable being uncomfortable. That's where I learned how I could ask anybody anything as long as I asked it the right way. And that was so invaluable. And then I went on to Rosie and Dow Jones. And then I eventually made my way back to Barbara and to Bill. And I was one of the original founding producers. And we launched The View. So after a bunch of seasons, I thought, I really feel more of an entrepreneur than I feel like I have a calling to just go be a coordinating producer or executive produce my own show. My commute was long and I was living in New York City, but I thought, I wish I get so many pitches a day. And all these people don't know how, like, and even like publishers and other PR firms. And I thought, God, I wish these people would just know what I really needed. And here's why. Because if they gave me what I needed, my job would be easier. Selfishly, my job would be easier. So I had really selfish reasons for wanting these people to get it right because I get 30 pitches a day and I didn't like any of them. So I already took the time to read through them all, at least the upper fold and right above the fold. And then I'd still have to go and look for my, like I said before, we would have like in the back, we'd have these boards and it would be like Erin, 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 Erin. Like, and so I would have, and every time my name was on the board, that's a segment that I had to put on air for millions of people to watch. And we were a daily live TV show, national, with millions and millions of people watching us. That's pressure.
Yeah.
So if any of these 30 a day would be decent, maybe they're not going to beat out Julia Roberts coming on the show, but for the back half of the show. And what about a Good Morning America or the Today Show? Or those are long. That's not an hour show. That's like a million hours now during the day. Can you all imagine? So media is very difficult to get into. It's very competitive. But imagine if you were at least positioning yourself to the right people with the right pitch, with the right things above the fold.
Yes.
You have a shot.
Yeah.
You really do have a shot. And maybe not for national at first, but local. And then you keep it's like fishing, like you use this bait to get this type of fish, and then you use that type of fish to get a bigger fish, right? And so it just keeps growing. And then after a while, you want to do it all, in my opinion. I love the volume play these days because there's so many great podcasts and there's so many great digital shows out there that I want everybody to do it all because it's not that they have, maybe some of them don't have millions of people watching or listening, but you know what they do have? They publish it, they print it. And then, because remember, I'm a marketing expert, not just a media expert, you take that interview and then you use that to send out as a follow-up, because you can't just email the media once. I'm thinking you need to do that 7 times. So the platform we created definitely does all those rounds, and it's consistent.
Hmm.
So if your PR person comes down with the flu, they're not gonna be able to be consistent. They can't. Maybe they have an assistant or whatever, but let's pretend your budget doesn't allow an agency, so you hire a single shingle person, which is fine. But then, Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, are they calling? Are they emailing? You want the consistency. You definitely do. And PR firms can't always offer that. A lot can, but they don't always.
Yeah. I think a lot of times I see that they don't, you have a lot of PR people out there now, and a lot of those companies, like, even their websites don't look good. And if their websites don't look good, how good are they, you know?
Yeah. Everyone really needs to do their due diligence. Because I created this platform, don't want I take business away from myself now, actually, because the platform is a different company I'm a partner of, and it's less expensive. And many times it's just as effective and for certain types of media. So, but I'm thrilled to do that, because that's a great plan for me, and that's a great company for me to get behind. I want to be careful that I'm not coming across like I'm dogging our colleagues, because I just think that if we're here talking advice and giving tips, consistency is that. And so, if people are hiring anybody, they need to really find out, well, how many rounds do you do? What do you do? Like, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
So I just know what we do at our company, but I really know what we do at the platform company. So it's different. It's even more consistent than my agency is, because we're human.
What I like about it is that it's not, any person at any status level could use it, but it's great for those startup companies, for those entrepreneurs that don't have a lot of money to spend. I think it really helps them tremendously.
Yeah, and it's helping other PR firms. So what we're seeing is that because of our different price points and lengths of time, we're able to become not just a B2C. So all of our examples now have been business to consumer, but we're really a lovely B2B avenue to explore, business to business, because especially if you are a smaller agency or you just have a lot of clients and you're a mid-size agency, they're liking this because it's allowing them to service their client. Heck, we'll even give them a referral for the business, right? But gets to work with their client, and then they get to just put it into their budget. And then they have the peace of mind that that part of it is just going for them.
Right. Oh, I love that.
It's fun. I like it. I'm proud of what we've created.
I think it's amazing. As you know, that I'm a total advocate of it, and
Thank you.
it's wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah, you've been so supportive. We love you at the office.
Well, I use it myself, and it actually helps me tremendously.
Yeah, it just, what I like is that, because then you can focus on the pitch to Oprah. Then you can focus on your bigger pitch that is just such a specialty pitch. And that type of pitching and story creation is definitely needed, but it's not necessary, and it wouldn't fly or work with your mass pitching. And so, when you want to cover a lot of ground with a thoughtful pitch that has all the bells and whistles in it, it's really been quite quite nice accoutrement for PR and marketing agencies. So we're glad that everybody's been liking it, and we're glad that people are now understanding. Well, they've always understood that we're not here to obliterate that industry. Gosh, no. If anything, we want to help, you know, continue that for people's legacies. People are working really hard to have great agencies, but they're also working really hard to just keep their side hustle or their main business going. It's not easy. It's not easy being an entrepreneur or, a solopreneur or a mompreneur, dadpreneur or whatever. Like, it's not, or a small business. It's not, but this is working for huge companies as well. Like we have some really big companies that are making already millions a year,
Yeah.
but they don't have a dedicated person to pitch the media,
Right.
and they want that. And their PR firms they're busy doing events, and they're doing like marketing and sampling product marketing, and they're building their collateral material. So they're working with firms for that specialty, which I can't touch that. Like go to it. I'll just stick with pitching the media over here. So it's nice because it helps check a lot of boxes.
Yes, it definitely does. Pitching
Yeah,
is very important and needs to be done the right way for sure.
totally. Yeah. And you know what? When you do it wrong, sadly, people remember. I don't like, we're not the nicest group of people in the media. I'm just saying, like, where we think fast, we talk faster, we're all really fast processors. So if you get a really, really awful pitch that is just terrible, sometimes that does get our attention because you're like, but not in a good way.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about you, but like almost like what the nerve, like we're almost offended then that you thought this would be decent. Like, why you're wasting my time with this? That's when I'm going to be a jerk, and that does happen. So, and then I'll remember like, oh, blah, blah, blah. You think I forget, but I never did. It's weird. I don't know.
No, I hear you. It's always, do you ever think it's always the negative things that people remember more so? And it's also wasting your time. So you do get annoyed when you invest in a certain, reading certain pitches or taking time to do something and it's not good.
I still remember this one lady, just thinking about this, and it still frustrates me. And I finally took the time and I took her phone call and I educated her. I was lovely. And finally, I said, "Do you watch my show?" And she said, "How would I watch your show? I'm too busy working." Right?
That's too funny.
Yeah. So I don't know what to do. That at that point, I'm my family lives in South Carolina. At that point, I was, bless your heart. I was like, bless your heart. I didn't know what else to say. I gave up. I waved the white flag to that. But I remember her name. I remember her face, and I still remember her pitch because she would send me the pitch in 18 different ways across the span of a year. She just wouldn't give up. She was that ignorant with it because you know why? She thought her baby was beautiful. She didn't take the time to hear or listen. And I know at home you're thinking, well, that's not me. But you know what? I guarantee 75% of you it is.
Yeah.
And I know you're like, well, I'm in the 25 that it's not. I promise you, for most of you, you're somehow, some way, you're in that larger number. And I'm so sorry. I want to help you all get out of that number. Get out of the bad percentage, people. Let me
Exactly.
help you.
Get out.
Come on. I'll never let go, Jack. Oops. Like in Titanic. She could have held on longer. That was very sudden. She did not give it her all.
Yeah.
She didn't in that scene of the movie. So
Right.
whatever. I
No,
digress.
it's very true. So is that the moment where you realize I know exactly what people are doing wrong?
Yes. Everybody does, not everybody, but different. In that woman's case, I knew exactly what her issue was, which was a bigger fix than me just presenting new tactics or segment angles. Hers was she just got in her own way and she was ignorant. With some time, could I have taken that and adopted that for my show? Maybe it would have taken some time. The sad part is the media she would have really cleaned up with. She wouldn't even have thought she was appropriate for. And some of them were really great magazines and newspapers and blogs and tons of podcasts, but she was so set on her company being positioned in this one way that she was missing out on so much awesome stuff. And then I found out that sometimes people just want certain types of media because that validates them being successful. Like, let's unpack that for 1 second. Like, well, if I could just be on Oprah, I can prove myself a great writer. Well, I had, I've gotten people on Oprah often. And one time we didn't sell a lot of books. Now, does that mean PR and pitching the media didn't work? No, I got you on Oprah, right? Did that mean that your book was too niche and no one up until, and you call me now while because other PR persons didn't successfully help you. So I got like 10th hour sloppy seconds pitching. But I saw something cool and I was able to take it and put it on Oprah. But the book itself, when the audience, they got tons of media, web traffic and traffic to their platforms. But when the rest of the marketing message didn't make sense, they realized they were a wanna buy a watch. So, and I helped them a little bit. My relationship with them at the time was just to make a few calls to the media. Probably now, this was quite some time ago, probably now I wouldn't even have said yes to that without them agreeing to overhaul their whole brand.
Yeah.
I thought that there was enough of a clean line threaded throughout to convey. And when I say we didn't sell any books, I mean obviously we sold a few thousand, but Oprah, it wasn't like I've crashed websites on TV shows before. That's how much web traffic. We'd be selling gingerbread houses, like
Yeah.
just crazy stuff, like just fun stuff. Like, so it could be a tsunami there. It could go viral. But it's also not just getting that one hit. It's about getting your Oprah or not even getting 17 local. Same thing, almost even better to get the 17 local because it's 17 more times your PR person or you can brag about it on your social media. 17 times over the course of X amount of months versus one hit on a bigger show.
Right.
I'll take the 17 times every day, honestly.
I think people, the biggest mistake I see with people too is that they think numbers matter. And they're always looking for the big numbers. Well, I didn't get this many views or I didn't get this or I didn't get that. But you could have 15 million views and maybe 3 people are interested in your product. It just caught their eye and they clicked on it and then they clicked right off. And then you could have those 3 people that were like wowed by it and they went right to it and then just purchased it.
Right.
And it makes such a difference.
And then let's reverse that, Stacey. What if you only have 1,000 views and 2 people went on and bought it, but one of them turned out to be a huge investor
Exactly.
and wanted to just infuse that company and product with $5 million. Now, are you going to tell me that you still shouldn't have done that media? I think no one would win that argument. Like you're going to want to do that. So I think it goes back to you never know.
Yeah.
And that's why I just want everybody to do what they can, when they can, as much as they can, because everybody's worked really hard on whatever it is that they've done.
Yeah.
And I think everybody deserves the shot of getting famous or getting well known or curing remedies or helping people. Like I'm not out just to help the narcissists. I want to be a star world and I'm fine with helping all of them as well. I don't care why people want to be in the media. As long as you're not a bad person, if I don't want infamous clients,
Yeah.
but I'll take healers, I'll take, but like, I don't if you're a bad person, I'm not gonna help you get into the media, but I don't come across many bad and I'm gonna knock on wood here, but I don't come across very bad people. I'm literally okay with people saying, "You know what? I just really wanna be famous. Is that bad?" I'm like, "No, so do I." You know? Get it. I really wanna be famous also.
Yeah.
I do. I do. So do you. We all do. Like in our own way for whatever reason we want to be famous.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm supposed to know every single person in this world.
Mhm.
How weird is that? Like, I'm so dorky. And a dork is a whale's penis, by the way. So I can't believe I'm just calling myself a penis, a whale's penis. But I'm so dorky that I just feel like I trip upstairs. I have like psychological Tourette's. Like, I'll just say things like, you know what I mean? And hopefully it's decent. Like, but I feel there's a relatability to my personal brand. Like
Mhm.
I'm writing a book. I just lost 125 pounds, blah, blah, blah. Like I really think I've got some things to say to people. I don't even care about the money. I
Yeah.
really just feel my calling is to validate that if I'm going through something personally, right? Because my brain, can we all tell that? But if I'm going through it, if I'm thinking it, I'm pretty normal, middle class, like whatever. But if I'm going through it,
Mhm.
I can't be the only one.
Exactly.
And now I do feel like I'm the only one. And those days, the 3 AM, I'm up, like, I know this is now going off path, but I get it. Like, I'm like everybody in your audience. Like, I am writing a book, not about how to get in the media, right? It's about how my struggle with weight and being into the entertainment industry. In fact, the book's called Chasing Pretty, the day the fat lady stopped singing. So it'll be out one day. Like, I can't even tell you when. It's so gut wrenching to write it, but
Right.
it's funny. It's funny, but it's like sad funny, like a sad clown. Like, it's just one of those things where I, so if you go to my TikTok and it's Erin Saxton or Saxton Erin on Instagram, you won't see any business advice. So please follow me on all my, like, just welcome to the show. It's funny. So I want to be related to people like that. So all that to say, I'm okay with why we get calls of why people want to be famous. I get it. I get it.
I get it too, and I'm kinda like you. It's like I want everybody to know me, and not for the wrong reasons, but for the right. I enjoy learning about other people. I enjoy helping other people. I enjoy all that stuff. I get a kick out of meeting people from all different personalities, from all different parts of the world, and it's like, I think people really wanna know you, more than
I love
anything else.
people. People intrigue me. I love it. I talk to people online at supermarkets all the time. And I don't care if I don't talk about myself. Like, I get like fun energy as an empath or whatever, but like I get such fun energy, and like I would be at like Yankee or Giant Stadium. And if I could just have like a lemonade stand, and like instead of me selling lemonade, like I'll give them a lemonade, but instead of them paying a quarter, they just have to tell me one thing about themselves. And I'll be like, great, here's a lemonade.
I love
Great,
it.
next person, where's lemonade? Like, I love people. I really
Yeah.
do.
Mhm.
I
I
really
hear
do.
you. I hear you. Now, we're in a completely different world now, like social media, podcasts, personal brands. How has PR changed over time?
So PR, how it intersects with the media has changed a great deal, but there's so many ways just over an umbrella with marketing. So I think with marketing like the parent, and then I think of, for the longest time I wasn't even really understanding what marketing is. So marketing is like, let's just say I'm a mom, so I'll just say a mom. So my name is marketing and I have kids. My firstborn is advertising. This was the first way as a marketer I knew I could get people. I stood on a soapbox in the middle of the town in 16, whatever, and I would tell people about whatever I wanted to tell them about. And then somebody else owned a soapbox. And I was like, well, I'll give you a shilling if I can stand on your soapbox and tell people. So
Yeah,
that's advertising, right?
right.
So, that's that. So then that's my first kid is advertising. So that's buses, billboards, home circulars, coupons, blah, blah, blah. Then I had another baby named public relations. So this is about getting somebody else to stand on a soapbox.
Yeah.
I'm not paying them, not really. I could, but for this example, and I want them to stand on the soapbox and I want them to talk about me. So it's getting somebody else to talk about you. So, like PR, she really rolls her eyes at advertising. She's like, ew, why would you get people to pay for advertising? Why would you pay my older sister when you can talk about, like, just for me, pay me and I'll get everybody to talk about you. So that's PR. So I thought I was done having kids as the mom marketer. Suddenly, decades later, I realize I'm pregnant and I give birth to this baby. I happen to call her social media. And I'm like, what the heck? And so my first two kids are like appalled that mom at this age had a baby. And now they're like, my advertising is off and running. Doesn't I make her come on family vacations, but like, I don't even know, PR is still like getting people to chat and gossipy. So she's still like within the mix, but she's older. But now social media, I have to watch her when she swims in the pool. I can't leave her in the car and run into Target. The cops will come. Like, so with social media marketer, it's so young still. You really got to watch your baby. You got to watch your company. You got to watch your brand on social media. Advertising, you could get it and set it and be done, right? PR, you got to babysit a little bit. You got to figure out, because that adds up. And so does advertising. Social media is starting to also cost a lot as my kid. And a lot of people are saying they're great babysitters to social media, but we're learning that not everybody's a good babysitter. Read the headlines and just listen to what's going on with, babysitters, education, blah, blah, blah with kids. Like, right? So marketing has changed over the years, just like that. It's evolved. And so a great marketing plan is how do you work with the three kids so it doesn't ruin your family name, it
Exactly.
doesn't break your bank, and that it still lets your family grow and thrive. So PR has changed in its own lane, how it intersects with advertising and social media. And then the media intersects with all three kids.
Right.
Right? So you could do media advertising like TV commercials. You could do PR, that's where you pay your influencers through a PR person or social media, that's how that social media or you could boost something and make that video or reel go viral. That's media. Like these are all ways to do it, but it's also advertising because you're paying for it. So it's like, you see what I mean? It's very interesting and keeping up with what is working in each of these corrals is the art form of marketing.
It is. It is. Now, do you still think that people need traditional media?
Yeah, I want you to have everything. I do. I don't think it's as dependent as it used to be,
Hmm.
but I think that there's a lot of customers out there, depending on what you are selling or what you're trying to promote, that there's people like if you're going for an older demographic, they might not be listening or watching podcasts. They might be on Facebook, but they might not be on Snapchat, right? Like, so, and if you have younger audience, then you're on Snapchat and TikTok and you don't even stop and say the F word, Facebook, right?
Right.
So it's all a matter of, and then my world, that age group doesn't know who Barbara Walters is
Right.
or The View or Good Morning America or maybe Oprah, but not really because now her show isn't on every afternoon.
Exactly.
So, right. So it really back to who's your target audience.
Yeah.
And so that's your answer based on who you're selling. If you're doing a 55 plus thing, yeah, you need traditional media because that they still trust the media
Yeah.
more so than a podcast or more so than something else. Like they'll be like, oh, well, because they still think that the media does their due diligence. And that is not necessarily, I'm not saying they don't do due diligence, but they're not, I don't think they're running background checks on their guests all the time.
Yeah.
But I bet you my grandmother, if she was alive, would think so, that they are.
My dad is 83 and my parents watch TV and anything the news says is like gold.
Right.
And it's like they say the sky is gold, the sky is gold. They say the
Right.
sky is purple, the sky is purple. They don't do their due diligence and check things, and it's just whatever they see and the station they like. That's the.
My father, Stacey, is lovingly obsessed with this one law firm
Hmm.
that advertises on TV. And a friend of the family needed to call a lawyer. And so great. But he was like not having any of the other firms being, and he's like, why aren't you calling, and he would repeat the commercial.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Do you hear how many billions of dollars won? Why aren't they just calling? And I'm like, right? That's what I mean. Like, so if your customer's an 82-year-old white man from Jersey, I'm letting you know where you need to advertise.
Yeah, exactly.
You may want to do the Today Show and advertise around 3 p.m. on ABC.
Exactly.
And then you're done. I'm just saying you'll get my dad then. You'll convert him like that. So that's it. But it's every demographic has that quick of a solution. You just have to sit and think about it
Hmm.
and have that much insight. Like I can diagnose my father.
Yeah,
Now, not every 82-year-old man would want that. But if I know my customer as well as I know my father, then it should be like that.
exactly.
Everybody and your PR firms need to know like that. And when you work with us on our platform, I'm going to ask you, who's your customer? And I really want to know. I
Yeah,
mean, I'll help you if you don't, but that's how you're going to win for sure.
it's so true. Erin, let's make this real for our audience. If someone wants to get more visibility starting today, What should the first thing they do?
Call me? I don't know. But I don't know the answer there. I mean, I want to just be like, or Stacy or call me.
Yeah.
I think that's the answer. However, I think they need to define who their customer is. I think they need to figure out what that customer really is, where they want to go, and get consulted with people, was that English? Like consult people to
Mhm.
find out to make sure they're on the right track.
Right.
And then they need to go for it. And if they don't know what I mean by that, then that means they do need to call up the law firm, but they need to call like a professional, like they need to reach out to you or they need
Yeah.
to reach out to me
Right.
and they need to get assistance and start maybe smaller, build out,
Yeah.
or just go for it if they have the budget and really just test it out. I wouldn't wait, that's for sure. Tomorrow may never come, not to sound like a Tim McGraw "Live Like You're Dying" song, but, I would test it. There's certainly ways to test it at all different budgets,
Yeah.
and there's different times that are better to go to the media and go to and build PR and marketing and things like that. So, the summer's great for some things and
Yeah.
not great for other things.
Exactly.
So, yeah, something like that would be my answer.
I think that's a really great answer.
Thanks.
And what's one mistake that they need to stop making
They
immediately?
need to stop assuming that they are conveying the message that they think they are. They need to start really looking at their marketing plan. And their marketing plan is not just pitching the media, or their marketing plan is not that they hired somebody for social media.
Yeah.
That's not enough. The marketing plan might be, but then you have to execute. They're not consistent. They're sporadic, they might be doing an email marketing campaign, or they might make a newsletter, but then they send it out every 7 months. There's no consistency. I'm never gonna do a newsletter, by the way. No way. No way. You know why? I don't have the time to be that consistent.
Yeah.
I don't, what, better said, I don't have the discipline for myself to be that consistent. So a lot of the other things people do wrong is they aren't real about what they're willing to do or could do, and I just know myself by now. And I'm just like, oh yeah, no, I'm not that person. Like, and so if I'm not that person, then I know I need to outsource that. So it's kind of just having that come to Jesus meeting with yourself or somebody else. So it's really just about figuring out who they are, what they're good at, and what they're not good at. And that's okay. My gosh, right? That's really okay to know what you're not good at and outsource for that.
Oh, 100%. And what do they position themselves so people actually pay attention?
So, like it goes back to the dentist. Maybe it's a great tagline, or maybe it's an opening saying when they open up their social media or their website, right? It's literally, bam, what's above the fold? What do I need to know about you in your first 8 seconds? So it's what's your first 8 seconds? Like, what am I telling you? Like, hi, I hope this message finds you well, blah, blah, blah. No, you have me thinking about me. And I'm annoyed with myself right now because I'm bloated. I gained 5 pounds and my dog vomited in the middle of the night. Like, so now you have me back there. That's your above the fold.
Yeah.
No. So you have to just like really, and yet I love that everyone's polite. Like, hi, you know what I mean? Like, and then there's some people that go to, it's very, remember that fairy tale Princess and the Pea, like, or
Yeah.
Goldilocks, like the porridge just had to be just right. And so it's like that, you need the Goldilocks approach or the Princess and the Pea. Like, it has to be, it can't rock the boat, but it has to at least get the sails moving a little bit.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, a lot of people struggle to talk about themselves. They don't know how to share their story or they feel like they're not ready yet. What would you say to them?
Well, you need to get over that or then just stop thinking that you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, why torture yourself? So I
Exactly.
would just hire somebody else at that point and have them write your story and you approve it and you edit and then you have them do it. So that means you're truly a PR person, right? That means you want PR and that means you're going to need somebody to do your social media and tell you what kind of videos they want or content. Like, you'll still need to create the content that goes on the social media, but a social media person will say what they want you to do. A PR person will just be like, I got this. And then they'll talk about you for you. So at that point, if you're like, I don't know, or I'm embarrassed or I'm shy, then just stop.
Yeah.
Don't I have so many friends that could never, like, they think it's rude or self-serving, or they don't want to be looked at as a narcissist, which you can say things in a way, just like I said before with Barbara, like, I can say anything to anyone as long as I say it the right way, right?
Exactly.
So can you. So can all of you. So it's just like that. So if you can't do that, like, I keep thinking I'm going to get back to being fluent in Spanish because I took 8 years in school. I either need to, like, cancel my Babbel app, or like I pay for it every year because I'm telling myself a story that I'm actually this year going to work on it. I don't. I speak Spanish when I come across people and then they laugh at how blonde and cute I am. But like, if I'm in Spain after a week, I'm pretty conversational.
Yeah.
So I either need to make a decision and either move to Spain, use Babbel, or, hire a Spanish only speaking coworker and force myself to do it. Right. Or I need to just stop torturing myself and do it the same way. Like, I either need to, the person who has that analysis paralysis,
Yeah.
unless that's working for you and you love to be in that perpetual feeling of I'm in action, but you're not. This is my business partner, Chad's, like, ballywick, right? Like, but you're telling yourself a story that you're in motion of doing something because you say you are. Well, that's the only thing you're doing, is saying you're going to be promoting yourself to the media. Like, you actually have to do it,
Yes.
So mark your calendar, because if so much time goes by, what? I always used to use sugar packets.
Hmm.
I would write whatever. This is funny. I would take it out of and I would write on the box the date, and I would take sugar packets out of the box and put it into my clear canister. And after a while, when I was trying to lose weight, I would put like 8:15. Here's my weight. Here's what I'm saying to myself, da 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 da. And it would take me about a certain length of time to get through the box, like maybe 2 months, to get through. So after 2 months, I would forget this, but then I'd go to take the sugar packets out and it would be an empty box. So I'd look at the message I left myself. Like, I left my little time machine and I got to see, I'm still telling myself this story. It's been 2 months.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything about this. And that's when I began to wake up with weight, with different things like that. And so people can try that at home. If you're still going, well, I don't know how to describe myself in a story and it's been 2 months, a week, or whatever, then you don't really want it that much. And that's okay too. That's the thing. It's all okay. But let's not live in one day. It's a boring community to live in
I
one
agree.
day.
Yeah, for sure. You don't want that.
No, no, they have bad landscaping over in the one day subdivision.
Now, if someone's listening right now and they feel invisible, what's one shift they could do today to make a big difference?
They could pick 10 media outlets that they want to be in. They could research the 10. They could think to themselves, do I have what it takes to reach out to them? Am I ready? And if they're not, they can call somebody like you or me. If they're ready, but they can't do it, call us, right? Or if they think people will be confused, they take my tip and have strangers analyze
Yeah.
and do the study, and then listen to their advice and make corrections, and then look at the 10 again and just keep going until you go, I'm ready. Yeah. Okay. I got this. And you either do it or you call a professional.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Visibility isn't luck, it's strategy. And the people who understand how to position themselves are the ones who get seen, heard, and remembered. And I just want, people to listen in that if this episode has helped you make sure that you follow us and share it with someone who needs it. I am so glad that you came on the show today and you're just amazing and you've done such amazing work. And I think a lot of times people have so many misconceptions of what PR is and what pitches are and how to get attention. And they go about it completely the wrong way. And you shed up, so much light today and so much great advice. And I just want to say, like always, it's always a pleasure to see you and to have you on the show. And I thank you so much for taking the time out to really, really educate people, about the
Thank
media.
you. Thank you for having me. Yeah, like I said, I love talking with people. So if people have questions or are interested in learning more about anything, I mean, that I can help them with. Heck, they could ask me about things I can't help them with, but it would still be interesting to know what they want help with. But yeah, I'm out there, or they can find more information on your station and stuff like that. Sorry, website station. What am I doing? Yeah. So thank you for having me. It was just so much fun.
Oh, you're so welcome. Before we go, where are you located? Like, where can people find you on the internet itself?
So I'm at my main website for the pitching is pitchmetamedia.com. And so there's more information there. My personal website is theerinnetwork.com. And I'm on all the socials, either like Erin Saxton 3 or Saxton Erin. You can just go to any of the websites and you could link there.
And what are some of the services also that you provide so people know?
Gosh, I do. I'll even do hourly consulting. I also do a monthly marketing group campaign where people sign up. We do a group and people get spotlight time. So figure it's like a TV producer and a marketer
Yeah.
on demand, right? So it's called Erin on Demand because again, I'm dorky. We meet twice a month. It's like affordable. It's like $500 a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just do that because a lot of people don't know what to do next. So we do that. Well, of course, we'll do pitch media media, and that is anywhere from like very affordable to even still affordable at the end.
Yeah.
And then I'll do marketing campaigns. I'll write your campaigns for you. We do marketing meetings. We'll do pitch creation, pitch letters, you name it. And then I even have people that'll pitch the media for you if somebody would want that. But just know that's expensive and there's no guarantees. So I'm always going to be a fan of our pitchmetamedia.com platform because it's easier on the wallet and it gives you a little bit of a sense of how you're going to be received in the media prior to you spending the big boy bucks.
Exactly. Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Erin, for being on the show today, as
Thank you.
always.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I hope everybody gets out there. I hope I see you all. I hope my dad one day is insisting that people like me and my family hire you because they saw you either on the big shows or the commercials. I hope my dad wants me to hire all of you. So
I love it. I love it. Well, you are amazing, and I really appreciate you. And once again, thank you so much for being on the show.
you're amazing too, my friend. Anytime.